Sequels, folks. Some people like them, some people don't. Well, let's talk about the sequel to Leprechaun. Leprechaun 2, released in 1994, 1,000 years ago in jolly old Ireland. The Leprechaun is set to marry a lass, which it turns out is the daughter of his slave, I guess you could call it, William O'Day. But he prevents this because you have to say the wife three, like you have to get her to say "God bless you" sneeze 3 times, thrice, and becomes the wife. Nice mythology there. 1,000 years later, he returns and is going to capture a new lady. And lo and behold, there's a guy who I swear looks like George Carlin's brother, played by Sandy Brooke or something like that. Anyway, I like this one a little bit more. It plays into, we have a supposed genius who deals with the trickery of a leprechaun. You know, they actually do like, okay, here's the mythology, here's exactly what is occurring. Now, let's proclaim him to be extremely smart. And let's just have this actor that portrays a character named Cody, and also an actual Irish actress named to portray Bridget, who is the descendant 1,000 years later. So, what do we have here that makes this a little bit better? In my opinion, I think it's the writing. It feels a little bit more darker because this time we actually get, well, obviously the costume itself is a little bit more darker. You know, it's like it's black. It's the hat isn't as colorful and everything else. So they made the character feel even more of a threat. But it's also at the same time there is a sense of humor about this movie. Very specifically, the drinking scene in the bar, of course, saying like, "Hey," saying, "Hey, you're messing with a leprechaun who can hold his drink." So then George Carlin's cousin orders a bottle of red special rye or something like that. I don't know. Proceeds to get him drunk, but then lo and behold, yes, the leprechaun does get sober and goes out hunting for the cousin. He manages to drink a lot of espresso. Seriously, it's just so funny. It's just so funny to see. I mean, this movie, in my opinion, it does top the first one enough. I think that just changing the locale, playing into a little bit more of the mythology and everything else. I don't know, I just had a better time watching this one. It's 85 minutes, but you know, like I said, with the characters, they're stock, they're standard. He's still looking. The woman is the female character is less annoying as she has her own agency of trying to get out of being out of the leprechaun's home. So I like that. And of course, the inclusion of other little people actors, including Tony Cox, who was also Ewok he was one of the he was either one of the Ewoks in Star Wars Episode 6, and also in Bad Santa. He was the little person there. And he was also in Bad Santa 2. So it felt right to have that. To have him cheering on the Leprechaun. I don't know. It just felt right. There's even a reference to Todd Browning's 1932 movie Freaks when they say one of us, or what you probably heard in SpongeBob, one of us, like that. So that was a very unexpected reference, but I liked it. But yeah, we get to see more of Warwick's performance. You know, he's still being a lovable bastard, and I think it works right for just whatever reason. I just think now it's like saying, hey, we've already seen him established in the first one. Now let's get him to appear in the second one. But this time, we have his home. And we also get to see that his weakness is wrought iron. Okay, I don't know too much about Leprechaun mythology. This is the guy with the red hair and the and the mustache and this right here. So I don't know. It just maybe there's more you need to research. Anyway, I personally like it. I even liked in the beginning when he came out, looked at a bottle of whiskey and said Canadian special whiskey. The only whiskey that there is from Ireland, so I guess it is kind of a enjoyment of it, like taking all the things associated with Ireland a little bit and the Leprechaun, and just using it enough to give this movie its own identity compared to the first one. But like I said, you know precisely what you're getting. You get more Shamrock goodness. You get more laughs and more of a great performance from Davis. You get a guy who looks like George Carlin's cousin, and more locale. So I think this movie does topple the first. But remember, this is a movie about an evil leprechaun. Okay, go ahead. You laugh at some of the absurdities. You point, and you're just like, 1990s humor, especially with the way how all the characters are dressed on neon or whatever it was. I don't know. Anyway, if you want to laugh, get yourself some tea, get yourself some whiskey, whatever. Watch Leprechaun 2.